Alright, today I want to talk about the three main logical modifiers, which are and, or, and not. They generally aren't used by themselves. I'll use them a little bit by themselves and a little bit with each other today, but mostly I like these because they can be used a lot with if, count if, sum if, other statements like those to refine kind of what you're looking for. Let's talk about and first. So if you hit equals and over here in O2, the and is just a series of logical arguments, and it'll kick you out either true or false. So if I say and, say if I go over here to H2 and I say and H2 is less than 25, and then I hit comma, and then I'll say what other thing I'm looking for, and PE less than 20. I can find any companies here that have a price to earnings below 20 and a book value below 25. So say I have some idea on wanting to make an investment here. And by the way, that all these are the S&P 500 companies and their ratios basically. You'll see in this case it kicks out the answer false. And actually in this case 3M has met neither of the criteria. But if we change this to 26 and this to 23, it'll flip to true. So now it has a PE less than 23 and a book value of less than 26. So it meets both of these criteria, and it'll give me true. That's all it does, either give you true or false. So again, if my cutoff here stays 20, it'll go back to false. Because it only meets one of the two. Okay, so it meets this one, but not this one. Now, if we switch to or instead of and, it works exactly the same way. So now it's going to say true because you only have to meet one of the two criteria. Now, and you can add more criteria to these two. So if I want to check, in this case, it meets the book value. Here it's below 26, but it's not below PE. But that's fine for or. It's still going to say true. And if I'm focusing on, say, comma, market caps of greater than 100. So now it meets actually two of the three criteria, so it'll still say true. So you can add as many modifiers as you want. I know there's a cap on it. I don't remember how many modifiers they'll give you, but you can do quite a few. And then you can always just double click and fill that down. You'll see true, 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 false, and then you can sort by these columns with and or to get all the trues or falses together. Again, I don't normally use them by themselves like this, so it's not a big deal. What you'll see, I had some stuff down here. I'll delete that out. It goes all the way down to the bottom, so we double clicked it. And now we can see what things meet our criteria. If we switch it to and, a lot more of them will be false. Just because it has to meet all three instead of just one of the three it did for or. So you'll see that'll flip to false, and we'll see a lot more false as we did before. You can also target written instead of numbers. So if I took this out, instead of K2 greater than 100, I could make it like C2 equal to C2 and then lock. And now it'll only look for companies that are in industrials. So it'll only count things that are in industrials if you do that. And so now it'll keep looking for this word. And so if I make this, this 23, it'll go back to true because it'll see that this is an industrial that also meets my number criterion. So that's how and or work. And then the other modifier is not. So I'm going to Control Shift down, delete, and hit equals not. And not is obviously looking for what is not equal to something. So if we say not book value less than 26, this one does have a book value less than 26, it'll say false because it's looking for the opposite. And there are times when that's really useful, and especially for setting ranges and stuff. Okay. Now we can mix these things together as well, and ors and nots. And so I can do and, so again, if I'm looking for, say, all companies with a book value below 20, and not sector equal to healthcare. So say I don't want healthcare companies included. Then that can become my criteria. So I hit that, it says false because I do not have a book value less than 20, although I do not have healthcare. So let's find one that, double click down. So if we look at healthcare here, this one has a book value below 20, but it's in healthcare, so it's false. We get down here, this one has a book value below 20, Accenture, and they are not in healthcare, so it's true. So you can use the not to just omit healthcare in this case. So we can start mixing these together. You can also even build ors under ands. So we can say, and we're okay with also seeing an or as long as it meets one of these two. A PE below 20, actually let's go 18, or earnings per share greater than 3. Okay, so we can mix all these together to really refine our searches and find, you know, okay, this company still meets all of our criteria, this company meets all of our criteria, although you'll see this one has a bunch of missing data, so that may be a sign that you want to dig deeper on that one. And like I said, then we could say, you know, this is we're looking for a specific plan of some sort. We have an idea of what companies we want to invest in, and so we can call this invest look. So we're looking for which ones meet our investment criterion. We can just sort by that. And smallest to largest will put all the falses at the top. If you'd rather have the trues at the top, since it goes alphabetically, I'm going to go largest to smallest. Now we can see all the trues. Oh! Control Z, something went wrong. One of the things with all these modifiers, it should sort them fine. If you're worried about it screwing up on the sort, you can always copy, paste, right click, paste special values, so that all the statements go away, all the ors, ands, ifs, and they lock in on that company, and then we can resort if it's having trouble with that. And in some cases it does, some cases it doesn't, and I don't want to get into why or why not today. But there we have all the trues now at the top, and you'll see there's not we've cut the S&P 500 down to 120 companies. So that's sort of what it's used for. What I really want this for is, once you kind of understand how those three work, I like mixing them in with if statements and stuff. And so we'll talk about that next time, mixing ifs, ands, ors. You can also use min and max formulas and stuff too in this same way. Sometimes they're really helpful to do some of these things too. So anyway, that's how and, or, and not work.